Welcome to Flow Design Architects, a company that works with you and for you.
I also wanted to introduce somebody who is not here. Janet couldn't make it, unfortunately. She hurt one of her ankles, but she's actually the chair for this year. My name is Darguin Fortuna. I'm one of the principals of Flow Design Architects based out of Salem, Massachusetts, and I'm a board member for the state of Massachusetts. So while we're here, why don't we start knowing who is in the audience, right? Who do we have? Well, you can raise your hands where you're from and who do we have in here at the audience. This is a great turnout. I know we're all tired and this is the end, but it will be good to know who we have here. This is the first time we actually see each other in person. And it's not just a little tile like 4x2. So do we have anybody from Massachusetts? Probably, I don't know. Washington? Ohio. Yeah, there you go. We're going to Washington next year. So, it's good that we're all here. We're gonna be talking about what SFX is. All of you probably already know that we're the majority of offices are small offices, small firms. And what we're gonna show you exactly what SFX is and where we are within the larger picture of the AIA. And Bruce is gonna get us started with that. To another part, how are we made up, right? So we're made up out of executive committee, where we have chair-elect, past chair, and work group leaders. I happen to be one of the leaders of the outreach community. Please go to Instagram and follow AIA SFX on Instagram. We also have other platforms. We also have board members and their seats. And as you probably have noticed, everything has moved into state representatives instead of regional representatives. So we have state representatives, and if you want to know how to become involved, there's always an email that gets put out within your local chapter, and just apply and engage. At some point I was asked to try to look for people within my state and other states around me to get involved, and I called one of my friends and said, we want to be part of SFX. We meet with a bunch of great minds that suffer the same struggles we all do and probably have solutions, maybe not, and we can learn from each other. And they said no, and I said, why not? This is it's really a tremendous group of individuals that you become very close with. And the board members serve for about 3 years, is that correct still? Yeah, I'm on my second year. And the state representative are for about a year. Every year we have a different one. See, these are the faces that we have. We get together once a year. This year we got together here, which is pretty great. And last year we were in San Diego. These are the members of the group, the board members, and again, really amazing, talented individuals from each state that gets to speak up as to the things that concern them, the things that keep them up at night, and we get to brainstorm and work together. We meet, by the way, this is the different states that have. If you are part of one of those yellow ones, please reach out, because we would like to hear from you. So what are the topics? We go through a very robust variety of topics, from economic uncertainty, business planning, ownership transition, cash flow, marketing. Lately too, we've been focused on the 2030 commitment and how can we apply the framework for design excellence, and how can we even get awards to, which we understand is very difficult for small practices to apply and get all that stuff together. But we can do that, and within all of these topics, we walk out with so much knowledge. I mean, sometimes I'm exhausted out of running a practice and having 15 hats, but I always walk out of the sessions knowing why I am a part. I probably wondered, why am I doing this? And then I walk out, I know why. This is very necessary so that we can remain relevant within where we are. So the chair gets to pick some of the topics that we focus on the most. And during this time, we've been focusing a lot on equity, diversity, and inclusion. As I mentioned, we have different work groups. Outreach, it puts out all of the information. We don't necessarily create information. There's just a lot of content that you don't know exists, and we want to make it to you. And then there's a group that's conference that organizes events like this, and makes this possible, and advocacy too. Actually, Dana's not here, but she's gonna be, I believe it's the chair next year. So Dana is a part of conference, and we have it all call. We all get together within those times and talk about, and all of the state representatives and the board members, and talk about different topics that we get to pick. So a lot of people also ask me, like, what's the commitment? How much time do I have to spend? And if any of you wants to know more about that, I just interviewed David yesterday, and we were talking about the amount of time that he spends. It's really not that much. It's not really gonna break you and you'll be like, oh, I'm wasting a lot of time and energy. There's a video that we're gonna put out soon on that. And what's the commitment? Well, the commitment is there's some meetings that we do, right? Every other Thursday, I believe it is. We have an all call, and we connect during that. And we have all this, like I said, all these groups. There are things that each group focuses on, and it all edifies and builds upon each other. But at the end of the day, we just want to really share all these resources that we have, business plan templates. Also, how to create a small firm exchange local group. We have an entire presentation into how to do that so that you can have your own one within your local component. There may be one that you don't know about, and if there isn't, you may be the first one that starts it. And all of this, again, connects to the bigger picture, right? All of the problems that we all deal with, the 2030 commitment, the framework for design excellence, and we've seen some small practices applying it within their processes. It's not just a thing of the bigger firms. We are actually the majority of the firms, so we actually get to make the biggest impact within our communities, believe it or not. We can probably call neighborhoods our own versus a bigger firm that will probably just do one building a year, right? So that's really good. So please connect, right? This is our QR code. Join the SFX, apply, and now I guess I leave it open to all of us. That said, Bruce, I think we have an interesting opportunity right here to even experiment.
Right.
Any questions you may have, there's a microphone there. I hope it's working. And we get to see, and I can pass my own microphone, it's okay. We get to see a lot within these meetings. We get to hear a lot of voices. You may have questions about how to get involved. You may have questions about what things do we experience and what things have we heard, and I guess firsthand hear from us humbly what we deal with, and what we hear and how we raise it all the way to the national level. So any of you have any questions, we can open it as a conversation, or any of the board members and reps also, if they want to give a testimony as to what they have gained through this process. I think it will be ideal for all of us so that we can amplify these voices. We're working really hard now with Dana. We're trying to launch a little series of clips speaking about what we do as FX and who we are as individuals, and also the value that we bring into our communities for the side, for advocacy at the end of the day, right? Ultimately for that. So we're working hard to bridge those gaps and connect with everybody. And again, this is my second year involved, so I'm also struggling with the same ideas and same problems that you have. Like, I didn't know about SFX either. I didn't know how, what they were doing, and now I know more. Darguin Fortuna, you can find me anywhere and I will respond. That's a good connection right there with the SFX. So, and I will connect with you right away and I'll do a Zoom call. I just got some members of the SFX that, because I won the People's Choice Award for the Film Challenge last year, they were like, how do you do that? Small practice winning such an award. And I thank Edwin de la Cruz, who is the guy behind all the production of that. But even doing that connection and reaching out to us directly will make it happen. It has to be easier. We're working on that. And that's how the newsletter even gets fed, right? Like, I don't know everything that's happening everywhere. So if you share, that would be great. By the way, Vanessa happens to be from New York, and she still sticks around with us, which means that, we're doing something great. She was part of the outreach last year.
Must like this.
Yeah, she likes us.
Yeah.
Well, I commend you for, by the way, because if doing the common and ordinary that we're taught to do is hard as a small practice, imagine doing what's not within the common and ordinary. So good job, Vanessa. And I wanted to say something about that because I hear all these voices and all of these different things, and when I first launched Flow Design Architects back in 2017, at the worst time, just had a baby, crashed my car, it was horrible, was burned out, that's why I walked out, I couldn't put my kids to bed and I couldn't see them wake up, it was really bad. So, but at some point, I guess I'm gonna give myself some marketing. I think I'm gonna put together because we have no problem getting work. And we haven't had problem getting work for a while at Flow Design Architects. And I think that I'm gonna do a mini MBA, I guess, into that, because there are some things you can do to get that work without having to pay. I don't think the AIA has legally a way of helping us get work. I don't think that's what they're all about. That's not really what they're supposed to do. Just like schools are not supposed to do that, because some people graduate, it's like, get me a job right after I get out of school. Like, they're not. So I mean, just so you know, because we hear all the voices of their concerns, and it's not like we have an agenda ourselves into like grow or not grow. It's more like, what are our concerns, like sustainability. When do we, how do we keep our staff? How do we manage our staff? Tools that there are, like we talk about different tools and things like that. So it's not, to grow or not to grow, that's the question, right? So, as you know, firms are as diverse as all of our brains, as all of, so it will be hard to track. And yesterday's reality for me is tomorrow's nothing. So I might change my mind. I don't want to be that. So it's hard to, keep up with that idea. But please connect. Is your state has a representative?
I don't know if we have a chapter. I think
we do have Haley from San Diego, who is like the board member.
Our board member from
California.
there, but I'm not sure if we have a state rep from California. We do not. Okay.
Well,
we're looking.
Reach out right now. We'll hook you up. By the way, I love how things get better at the end. This is awesome. Like, more time. One thing I could say to that is, like, you've seen us, right? So you can reach out to us. But I would be very happy to do a presentation with any local place as to how to create a local chapter, because we do have a how to do that.
We have a toolkit.
A toolkit. Literally, that's what she was mentioning in Connecticut. So, and again, I always overschedule myself, but I will be happy to welcome you and teach you, because we have to give this continuity. This is only 3 years, and then when I'm really learning what the AIA is all about, I'm out. So it's like, well, so I could probably continue to translate, and somebody can build upon what we've already built. I know Matt, the chair from last year, is checking us out, like how good we're doing. I hope we're doing pretty well. But yeah, one thing is, because a lot of the questions when you sign up for AIA sometimes are optional to tell whether you are X or Y or Z. So it's hard to even collect that data from those forms. So that's one of the struggles too, and it doesn't really help anybody. So no, in the sense that, like, because I mentioned how Flow hasn't had any problem getting work. I mean, if we graph or start from 2017, and we do map it every year, we show it. I mean, it's like, if it was a stock, I will buy it because it goes up every year. So, but the thing is, we did everything when we first started, the handouts, all that stuff. There are things that will bring you zero, like zero, right? There are things that just literally don't work. And I think I should probably write a book about best practices, because and then there are things that will bring you a lot. And when I read the book, The Art's Way, Gensler, and how he met these people for JetBlue, like but he had to speak up. And unfortunately, a lot of us architects are very introverted. So, and the way I see everything I do is I want to create a connection. I don't know what's gonna come out of that. I mean, I go to preschools, middle schools, and high schools to talk to children about architecture. It has nothing to do with the money. It has nothing to do with their parents' home. No, it's just I want to be out there, right? And if you're not out there, you're never gonna be able to connect with any of these people. You don't even know who is there in the room. So make sure that you speak up. And I actually have a problem with being censored. So I make sure I'm never censored, and that the things that you want to say are said and listened to, because they all matter. And somebody's gonna like him, somebody's not gonna like him, but it's gonna create, you're gonna leave a trace. And that, that guy, Darguin, the film challenge, who wants to partner, right? That's gonna create something. Just throw it out there. Some little nuggets that you throw out there so that people are aware of who you are and what you do, right? I think we should create a little body system or something like that for people, and whoever's gonna get out of the SFX should be finding the next SFX person. And I think we have the example of mentorship right here. We have the present and the future and the past, right? Yeah. So it's ironically how it worked out that we have, somebody who's been at the AIA forever, and I'm just, being around for a little bit. So because I'm always looking about supply chain, I guess, how you get from one point to the other. So how do we know of you? So if your information within your local chapter, AIA chapter, is wrong, your emails are gonna bounce back. You're never gonna get it, right? So make sure that you update your emails. Make sure that you receive the email, and when you receive the email, apply to it and call and say, hey, I just applied for this. Like, did you get it? It's all good. Because I think that a lot of people have either moved from one office to another and they didn't put the right information, and then it gets completely lost. Because I happen to have represented Maine last year and Massachusetts at the same time. And I'm like, that was pretty sad. But I spoke with the executive director there. I met with her, and then we have it. We now got it. So yeah. So on the topic of self-promotion, please connect with me outside of the AIA, and we can talk about promoting all the things that you have, because I'm interested in all that. I just want to make sure that we don't talk about price and cost and things like that, right? Because but there are things that we, you know. Yeah, I was gonna say that that's not a problem of just. Well, it's actually substantially bigger of a problem because I work with that same. I want to represent my own people, right? Like I was saying earlier, that my own mom doesn't know what I do, because I speak more English than what I speak Spanish. So now I opened up a channel on Spanish so that I can also help them out. So it is a problem already that not many people know what we do, and we don't even know how to explain it ourselves sometimes. And I know Bart right here was talking to me about creating a video series where we can show the value of an architect and what we do. The language barrier is a problem, and even if we spoke the same language, we may not be talking about the same things. So it's something that, how can you lessen that pain? I guess it's the struggle. I wouldn't have a solution myself, because I'm still working on that. We're actually learning Portuguese, because most of our clients are actually, like, I think 80% are Portuguese speakers, which is ironic. We speak Spanish, but we're learning how to do that too, so that we can connect those bridges and understand each other. It is like, I don't know, just, there's apps, by the way. So one person I sent to an existing conditions at a site, and she literally opened up an app, and she spoke in English, and he spoke in Portuguese to the client, and they told me about it, because I'm a geek. When they told me about it at the office, I was like, my son can talk to my mom, because my son only speaks English, and my mom doesn't speak English. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's tools. So I guess there's ways that we can do that, but it requires patience, a lot of patience, like more than normal patience, yeah.